and welcome to the Designer Monologues. My name is Alex Ashman, and this is my co-host.
Hi, I'm Emily Fraser.
And together we are the Designer Monologues. We're an unfiltered account of being a woman in design. We'll talk about what we love, what we don't love, and everything in between. And this week we are talking about Config 2026.
Yeah, very exciting. I can't believe it's been a whole year since the last config, but they didn't come to London
Oh,
this
I
time.
know, devastated. And also I can't believe it's been a year. That's gone by so fast.
It really has. And they must spend a lot of money putting on that event because, I mean, it looks huge now.
It gets bigger every year, I think. Like every time I see it, I'm just like, Jesus.
Yeah. And honestly, like a lot of people that work at Figma have really good clothes.
Yes.
It's one of my key takeaways.
I know, I'm writing notes about everything. I'm just like, good looking people here.
Yeah. And they all seem very healthy and happy.
It's
That's where you want
aspirational.
to be.
I bet they had very good merch as well. They always seem to have very good merch.
I know. I just saw that they're doing a config in India for the first time. So maybe they're going to start going all like to different parts of the world rather than just London. Maybe they'll even come to Scotland. Who knows?
If we could tempt them to Scotland, that would be amazing.
Get them here with our haggis and iron brew. I mean, we've already charmed the Americans during the World Cup.
Exactly. We can win over Boston. We can win over Figma.
Exactly. Although I think there was somebody playing bagpipes outside of somebody's house, so I don't really know how well that went down. I think they became pals afterwards.
I don't know. We're a charming lot, the Scots.
We are, and modest.
Very, very. But yeah, there were so many exciting things announced at Config. I think the biggest for me was Figma Motion, but I don't know about you.
Oh, that's pretty exciting. I mean, not to totally geek out, but I've already started using it in Figma as well, and it's great because usually it's the sort of things that you'd have to make in After Effects, and you'd have to export from After Effects and then pull in as like an MP4 or what have you, or so yeah, pretty exciting. And I just realized you can do the trim paths as well, which is
telling me this. See, I haven't played with it yet, so I really, really want to. But yeah, I haven't had a chance. So yeah, it's very exciting that you've played around with it and it's been good.
Yeah, it has. And you can even use, so obviously last year they introduced all the different drawing features, so you could have a bit more texture in your kind of vector artwork. So you can even animate with trim paths a line that's being created with a texture, which is pretty cool. And it's very smooth and fast. I mean, everything in Figma is just remarkably fast, which is one of the reasons why I think we both started moving over to it because of just how quick it is.
That's it. It was just so much more responsive. And like, even though I love After Effects and it will always be my baby, I'm aware that it's terrible and very hard to use. And you have to kind of work around things and kind of figure out how to do something sometimes. And it's all very intuitive. Whereas I feel like the biggest thing about Figma Motion is how easy it is to just pick it up and play with it. It's all really intuitive, it's fast, it's responsive. There's like so much you can do with it. Like from what I was looking at, like the like all the easing, the keyframes, all that sort of stuff, and like loads of presets that you can either use or like set up. I think that's going to be amazing and make things so much faster. And yeah, it means you don't jump into After Effects and laboriously do something and then jump back out and then pull in a movie into a Figma file and stuff like that. Like, so
it's also just, I think it's easier to pick up how you use it. Like, I think even Canva probably has a similar interface for doing like animation stuff. Like, it's quite straightforward. And I think for like a more junior designer as well, like they could pick it up way quicker than learning After Effects. I mean, I still think After Effects is, you can do a full motion graphics like animation in Figma. That would be crazy, but for just doing little animations. And actually, I've realized that you can have the animation stop and start over like mouse over as well, or mouse enter,
Fun.
which
That's
I
good.
think we were talking about this the other day, being like, oh, it'd be handy if there was a way of being able to trigger the
Yeah.
animation starting rather than it repeating, but it looks like there is.
Yeah, because
So,
that was my worry, is that it would be kind of just this thing that just auto plays constantly. And I'm like, well, that's not like, especially like if I'm doing like a prototype or something, I need it to be like there needs to be a trigger event, or
mhm.
at least like a delay or something. So yeah, it's really amazing that you can do all of that stuff. Like I
Yeah.
really need to play around with it, but and also just the component side of it as well. Like I love that you can animate stuff directly in a component, and then when you change something in a component, it just flows through like seamlessly.
Mhm.
That's really, really good. And that'll be so time saving when
Yeah,
doing like
totally.
prototypes and stuff like that. So I think it just sounds fantastic. And I can see why, because I think this has been in the works for quite a while. I think they've been wanting to do this for a little while now. And I think I can
Mm.
see why it took so long to get it polished and good, but it seems to be absolutely worth it for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you can just see how much
Mm.
time and effort they must put into like doing the research and developing these features on it. Like it's just they're just
Yeah.
very forward thinking, and probably part of the reason is because there's more competition coming out. Like
Mm.
Claude Design, I was actually
Yeah.
using a bit of Claude Design today, and
Mm.
interestingly, it was an ex exec from Figma that went on to create that.
Oh, really? I
So
didn't know that.
there's some Figma elements that you can kind of see in it, and it is
Mm.
quite easy to use.
Mm.
Not saying I'm going to remove myself from Figma, but there's certainly quite decent things that you can do within Claude Design now. So I guess
Mm.
Figma needs to keep developing and keep designers within their platform. So,
Yeah,
but it's always good to have healthy competition, right?
it is. Yeah, and like talking of that, like I really feel like Adobe must be like really worried at this point,
Uh-huh.
because like that was one of the main things they had over Figma was
Mm,
the motion side of it. And now they've come up with this. I'm just like, oh, well, that's a real big,
mhm.
really big thing that they've done to just draw people away from Adobe. So I could see a lot of people moving away from Adobe completely at this point because they just don't need it. So
Yeah,
that's
well,
very interesting.
I've seen a
Mm.
lot of people go to like if Affinity Designer and using the affinities software
Yes.
because you only have to pay. Well, I think you still just have to pay once, which obviously used to be the case with
Mhm.
Adobe, but now they have the subscription and it's
No,
off-putting for a lot of
so
creators.
expensive.
Hmm.
Like even myself, like I'm at that point now where I think I might start canceling Adobe stuff because I just don't use it enough to justify how expensive it's got. It's just
Yeah.
ridiculous now.
Mm,
So yeah, I think Figma's really, really taking over, and I'm kind of like, well, power to them. They've done a very good job of
yeah.
it.
Yeah, they have done, and like Adobe nearly did buy Figma, but then I
Mm,
think obviously fell through. So yeah, interesting to see what happens. But
yeah,
so Figma Motion, definitely an exciting one. I'm
very exciting.
already using it. Very, very simple to use. Um, doesn't seem to have any bugs yet, but
We'll have
every
to stress
piece of
test it.
software might have a little bug here or there.
Yeah.
Um, the other thing that was introduced was Figma Weave.
Mm,
And
mhm.
that was quite exciting. I think one of the things I thought would be something that we'd possibly use in our studio is doing the mock-ups,
Mm.
and being able to apply your branding pretty easily to like lots of different
Yes,
mock-ups.
yeah,
Sometimes
because
that
it
can
like
be a really time-consuming
it
thing.
auto populates, doesn't it? Again, I've not something I've
Mm,
used much, but I'm aware that they acquired it. It like, was another company before, and then they bought it, and then kind of polished it up to be kind of more Figma esque.
mm.
But from what I've seen, it looks really good. Like you say, like it kind of auto populates, and you can just do a lot of screens very quickly. I think.
Yeah, it just all
Mm.
seems, well, I mean, in the demo, and they do kind of do live demos, so you do see it in kind of real time how
Mm.
long these things take, and it's all very, very, very quick.
Yeah.
So that's definitely one that we will be exploring. I think that one's still in beta,
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
it's
I think
not.
so.
I can't see it in my Figma yet. But
No, I didn't see it in mine either, so I'm assuming that'll come later because I think the only one I saw or really was playing around with was the motion stuff. But yeah,
What do you think about the way that you can kind of go between the draw, motion, design, and dev mode?
so it's one of those things that like I get why they've done it the way they have, but
Hmm.
the way that I work, I only ever go between design and dev mode. That's all I ever really do. So
Oh,
it will be interesting. Like when I've gone into make, I have had a few bugs before when I'm like switching between, but I think it's because my work Figma has an insane amount of stuff in it. So I
mhm,
think it might just be that I'm stressing it out.
mhm.
But yeah, what about you?
I think, well, I only found it a little bit annoying when I was trying to play about with Figma Motion, and
Mm,
I'd done a line using the different textures in Draw, but then I had to go between Draw and then back to Motion,
yeah.
and there's probably a nice little shortcut that I could be using, and I'm probably
Mm,
just not used to doing that yet. But that was one thing that I just was like,
yeah.
oh, it's a bit annoying, but I don't know. I understand why they've done that because otherwise you'd
Mm,
have a really overwhelming interface
yeah.
with
I
lots of
think
different things.
that's it. I think they've tried to
Mm.
make it simple. And I do think because there's so many different like levels of subscription you can have with Figma. So some people, like in my company, we've got a bunch of people that just have dev mode. That's all they've got. And they don't have like
Oh,
any of the other stuff. So I think that's probably why they've done it. But I feel the same way where it's a little bit annoying, especially if you're jumping between them and then you get a crash, which is what I had last time.
yeah,
It was just a bit like, oh, there's that little frustration point. But it's
yeah.
something that I can only assume that they're going to smooth out, you know?
I mean, I suppose like the way that Adobe software deals with things like that is that you have like multiple windows and then you can kind of set up your workspace and then save it in the way that
Yeah,
you prefer to work.
yeah.
So I wonder if maybe eventually they might do something like
I would
that.
love that. I'd love to be able to
Mm.
customize the UI of it and just get like just the things I need, you know? That would
Mhm.
be amazing. Yeah, maybe we should email them and tell them that we want that.
Yeah. Like, hey guys, we've got a
Come
great
on,
idea.
Figma.
We're probably already working on it.
Probably. They probably started working on it years ago.
Mhm.
But
Um,
yeah.
Another thing that was announced, which was quite exciting, was this agent. Like, I don't know if it's called Figma
Mm.
Agent, but like it's on the side, and that's already rolled out to. I think everyone can see that now if you're on a full seat.
Yeah.
Um, but that's quite cool because you can make your own little plugins. So if
That
there's
is
something that
very
you need to,
interesting.
yeah,
Yeah.
I can definitely see us using that.
Yeah. Yeah. A
Mm.
few things that I'm just like, oh, we could like automate something through this plugin, like if I could make it. And then what I was reading about it is that it's very iterative as well. So like you can just tweak it as you go. So once you've made it, it's not just that's, done. You
Mhm.
can just carry on iterating and adding stuff to it, which is very cool. So I need to sit and play around with it, but I can see it being really useful like in teams, to like
Mhm.
try and automate some things. So yeah, I want to play with that a little bit. But yeah, I think like you say,
Yeah.
is available at the moment.
Oh, I was going to say I was trying to use it today because
Mhm,
I'd created some wires in Cloud Design actually, and then
mhm.
I'd exported it, and I was trying to take it into Figma, but they weren't really speaking to each other, and I did wonder if that's slightly deliberate because of them competing
Maybe
with each other.
they're like, why did you not do this in Figma?
Yeah, I know. I still think I feel like Figma, you won't have the same control in Claude
Yeah,
Design as you do if you're doing it in Figma. So I certainly, for wires, it was pretty good, but for actually doing something a bit more detailed and a bit more designed, I was like, I want the control of Figma, but
yeah,
they're not. I couldn't figure out a way of them speaking to each other, and I did try and use the agent to do that, and the agent was like, just send me screenshots of each of the individual pages. And I was like, oh, that's a right pain. I
yeah.
don't want to do
Don't
that.
want to do that. I wonder. I
Mm.
think you might be right. It might be a intentional thing.
Yeah, quite possibly.
But I was playing around because like they've got really good through this agent thing. They've got really good integration with like Jira and Slack now, which is really good. So that
Mm.
I was actually doing that today, and because I was making a ready for dev file for the devs, And
Mhm.
it's just really handy because you can just link a bunch of stuff in there and they just like immediately can access like a Slack conversation that where we all agreed on something,
Mhm.
and then like the Jira of like the you know whatever tech plan. So that I think is going to be really handy, especially like handing over stuff. So that already I think is a useful thing that I will use all the time, I think. And it's really
Yeah.
nice to have it a little bit more integrated like that. I think Confluence as well, because that's also part of Atlassian. But yeah, so I can see myself using that a lot, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's kind of a while to, like, I can't almost remember what it was like before having access to these tools to be able to like
Mm-hmm.
summarize a brief, or, if you're on
Mm-hmm.
a meeting, get it to summarize what was discussed in the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't need to be there writing notes. You can just be in the meeting, just
Mm-hmm.
engaging in the meeting. Although I did find, I asked if I could record a meeting the other day, and some people were quite visibly like not so keen, because I think they get worried that then something they say, or they say something that they think silly, is
Yeah.
then going to be recorded. It's obviously not my intention. I'm not like recording it to be like, "Ugh, I can't believe you said that." Yeah.
Yeah, I can see people being a bit funny with it. We've actually had some trouble because we've got a very multicultural company and
Mm.
it really struggles with accents. So
Okay.
we've had a lot of problems where if someone is not their English isn't their native language and they've got a bit of an accent, it hasn't picked it up well and summarized it well. So maybe they'll
Mhm.
work on that because that would be handy.
Yeah, I mean, if I feel like even the Scottish accents and stuff, like
I know.
sometimes words that I
I
say
know.
just gets picked up completely
Yeah,
wrong. I
you're like
think
like
sometimes when
what?
I say sewing, it thinks I'm saying swimming, and I'm like, no.
Oh, it's difficult. Yeah, it's hard with the accents.
It is, but
Yeah.
yeah. Do you mind people recording you in a meeting, or are you okay with it? What's your
I
thoughts?
don't mind it. I don't mind it because we do it quite often anyway, just at work. Again, because like not everyone can be there sometimes, or if it's like a big like tech planning session, it's really good to actually have the recording that you can go back to and go, right, did we decide that, who said that? Right, okay, this is what was decided, blah blah blah. So we
Hmm.
tend to do our sort of big meetings that way anyway. It's just like everyone's kind of okay with it. It's when
Yeah.
it's the just one-to-one meetings or like smaller meetings that I think I could see why people would be a bit like, ugh.
Yeah,
Um,
I wouldn't do it in a one-to-one situation. That would feel
yeah,
strange. Yeah.
yeah. But if it's like a huge meeting with like a bunch of people and it's like a lot of decisions being made, I think it's quite good to have it recorded so everyone can go back to it. But
Yeah,
yeah.
I'd agree. I'd agree.
Mhm.
Um, cool. So I know we were also going to talk about shaders, which
Yes,
is
I was going to say, well, that kind of it goes hand in hand with the motion stuff as well because I didn't realize how integrated the generative shaders were with the motion, but it's amazing. Like you can do a full thing in motion and then add a generative shader to it, and it just works perfectly by the looks
mm,
of it. I need to play around with it, but I was very impressed with the tech demo.
yeah, yeah, definitely. So that's definitely an exciting feature. And again, it just seems to be really quick. If you're making any iterations
Mm,
to it, it's just kind of happening in real time if you've got kind of animation going on. So yeah, that's very
yeah.
cool. And actually, today I was in Figma Make, which I hadn't been in for a wee while, because that was obviously launched last year. Interestingly, they didn't seem
Yes.
to have a update on that in the
I
keynote
was
this year.
surprised by that. I
Mm,
thought they would, but I think they must have
mm.
just put absolutely everything into motion, I think, instead, because it's such a big update. But I was a little bit sad because I was like, I feel like Figma Make has got so much potential and they could push it a bit further. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I used it today for animating a kind of static image, and it worked really well. And I was like, "Oh, that's quite good." And I shared it with a colleague, and then they were like, "Oh, do you think we could actually use this on a live site?" And I'm like, "Well, it's still in beta, so I don't actually know." So I'd have to work with our development team a little bit and see what the possibilities are, because it was working really well for
Mhm.
me. But obviously, it's within the Figma kind of interface. It's not, you know, ready to go on a live site.
Yeah, yeah,
So watch
definitely.
this space because we might do some experiments on that. And also like Figma sites, they obviously launched that last year, and there was a lot of talk about it
Yeah.
becoming, being able to publish your website designs live from that platform, having Figma
Yeah.
host it, and also having like a content management system behind it
Mm.
too. But
Yeah.
there didn't seem to be updates for that in the
No.
keynote.
I was again a bit surprised. So I wonder if maybe next year it'll be sites and make that are the main focus because they've got time to look at them now, maybe.
The
Yeah.
sites I did try and use, but I kind of came along a stumbling block quite quickly in that it wouldn't let me use fonts that weren't just system fonts. And I was like, well, I can't
They're
really do
rubbish.
my website
Yeah.
design in this anymore. So,
That's it. And I think that must be a really big thing for a lot of people because, like, or even just if, you're trying to do something and working with a brand, like, you can't be like, I can't use your font. Sorry.
mhm.
you know? So, yeah, I think that must be quite restrictive for a lot of people. But I don't know. To be honest, I haven't heard a lot of people having success with Figma sites. Like, a lot of people seem to have just played around with it and then just let it go. So, yeah, maybe they're going to push it and polish it for next year, potentially. But
Yeah,
yeah.
it feels like something that should just live within the design area
Mhm.
as well, I think Figma Buzz, I get why they would have that as a separate thing because there's kind of a different use case for that, and there's a like a
Yeah.
cheaper tier of how you pay for Figma as well that gives you access to
Yeah.
Figma Buzz. So I kind of get that. That
Mhm.
feels like a different use case,
Yeah.
but for sites, it feels like it should live in the design area rather than going between sites and
Again, it's that kind
design.
of jumping between thing as well, where it kind of knocks you out of the flow slightly. I do
Mhm.
wonder if they're going to do like a big overhaul where they make that smoother because we can't be the only people that find that a little bit jarring. But yeah,
Yeah,
I
because
wonder if it'll be a next year thing.
there's also slides as well, which again we probably don't use, but then I think there is like a different type of user that would have access to that, and FigJam as well. Like there's a few people at my work that are more like strategists, and then they'll have access at that level where they'll use
Yeah.
FigJam all the time.
Yeah, yeah, I know that quite a lot of there's groups at my work that use it all the time for like brainstorming sessions and stuff. We don't really use it on our team, but I can see why people would be into it. And like slides
Mhm.
as well, I've not really used much of that because we just, as a company, use Google Slides. But I can again could see why people get into it, especially if you're integrating some of the Figma Motion stuff because you can export that as like MP4s and stuff now. So you could easily like do something in Figma
Mhm.
Motion, pop it over. But yeah, so I really should play around with this stuff more.
Yeah, well, definitely motion. Also, you can export as like animated SVGs
Yes,
from
so
there
good.
as well, which is good. Even a GIF if you
Oh,
so desire.
God bless
So
it.
yeah, I'm excited to be like exploring that a wee bit more and seeing where it can take you. But also, like I definitely am intrigued to see how Claude design is going to change how we work as well. And I know we've talked about AI quite a bit, and AI ethics policy is something that I'm trying to help out with at the moment with our agency, trying to like determine when is the best time to use it, because I still don't think it's always the
Yeah,
best option, um, just because it's being talked about a lot at the moment. I doesn't necessarily mean that it's always the right tool to go
yeah.
to. So it's
No,
just
I
figuring out
agree.
where it goes into your workflow, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, at my work, we've been looking into Claude a little bit, but we haven't found it to be that useful because we were looking at maybe creating a design system with it, but it really wasn't working. So, but then I was saying that we were talking about this before. I think a big part of it is that I just do not know how to prompt. So,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And it's just, I feel like AI in general for me, I don't have enough uses for it in my current work. I think this is the thing. So, yeah, for me, I looked at it and went, it would be quicker for me to do this just myself, you know?
Yeah, I know there is so many
Mm,
circumstances where that is the case, and I think it's one
yeah,
of those things like you just kind of learn if it's relevant to a project that you're working on, or maybe there's like the project that I was working on today, it was just the perfect time to try it out and see how it would work, because we've got like a tighter time scale than we usually would do. We needed to find a process that was going to speed things up, and doing wireframes sometimes can be really laborious. So it
Yeah.
definitely has helped with coming up with more ideas and being able to like iterate a wee bit faster. But yeah, when it comes to the design, I did try and do a design in it out of interest to see what it would create, and it was terrible. So,
Yeah. No, this is it. You do kind of end up looking at it and go, well, that did not work.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's probably a good summary of Config
Yeah.
2026. And yeah, who knows what we'll be talking about this time next year. Maybe we'll actually get to go to Config. That would be nice.
Oh, that would be the dream. That would be the dream. I'd love to go. I would get so much merch. I'd buy so much stuff.
I know. Well, some people were having watch parties I think in the UK. I feel like in the UK they were doing that.
Yeah. It's like a design event now globally. It's crazy. But yeah, it'd be amazing if anyone in the comments has noticed anything good or has played around with anything. Let us know, because I really want to hear people's stories about using all this new stuff. I want to see what people are doing, or link us something if you make something cool. I want to see.
Yeah, I definitely am keen to see. Cool. Okay. So the next designer monologues episode, I am hoping to get somebody quite new into the industry to be our next guest. So watch this space. And yeah, it'll probably be quite a good time to interview them if it's kind of end of the summer. There's probably lots of graduates out there trying to get their first step on the ladder. And if you're finding it hard to find opportunities, you're definitely not on your own. There's just so many talented people and a lot of agencies that are not unable to hire at the moment. So yes, we hope that episode will probably be quite useful. We can find out what's a good way of getting either into a freelance career or into an agency or in-house, whatever it is that you're looking to do.
Yeah, definitely. Some tips and tricks.
Some tips and tricks.
Amazing. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for coming along, and we will see you next time.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.